An infamous so-called Tradwife influencer named Nara Smith has just announced her 4th pregnancy with her husband, Lucky Blue Smith. They are both rich supermodels. That is actually their lifestyle. And they're also in a traditional relationship. Many people have said they are Mormon. However, I just learned that Nara Smith does not identify herself as a Mormon. She actually clarified that recently. A lot of people chalked that up to why they have had so many children so young. But on their 4th pregnancy, they posted the announcement. She is currently 6 months pregnant and were swiftly met with a deluge of hate comments because people either believe that Nara Smith is spreading natalist propaganda or that she is brainwashed by her husband and is in an abusive relationship. So this was their pregnancy announcement. She captioned it, "Our little surprise," because they were not expecting this one. And the caption that someone posted here is, "Nara Smith is pregnant again. Girl needs a break. Can't imagine being 23 and having 4 kids. OMG."
That is a lot.
I mean, it is definitely outside of the norm, for sure. I'm just thinking, what are they going to name this next one? Because they are infamous for choosing bizarre baby names. Their first child is named Rumble Honey.
Oh,
followed by...
That's what that was from?
I think the guys over at Rumble paid to have her name that baby.
I think that was before Rumble existed.
I don't know.
And followed by their second child, who they named Slim Easy.
So it's like Eminem and G-Eazy, and they each picked some artist that they like.
And then their third child was Whimsy Lou. So some other possible names for their 4th child include Bo, Tank, Lemon, Plum, Clementine, I like that one, Pippin, Dottie, Ivy, and Halo. Actually, Halle Bailey named her son Halo. So
not Blue Ivy, though.
Here were some of the hate comments that Nara Smith received under her pregnancy announcement. "Ask him to get a vasectomy, sis." Another one said, "May a man that won't ever not let me be pregnant not find me ever." I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Another one said, "You're making, you're barely 24, stop." Another one said, "He really doesn't want her to work. I guess the jealousy is keeping her pregnant." They're saying that her husband is jealous of her success and is forcing her to take time away from work.
This is
by having
I don't
more
like
babies.
I don't like that she was like barely legal when they got married and he's my age. I don't like that.
I don't know their history. What do you mean by barely?
Well, she's 23 and they got married in 2020.
How old is Lucky Blue Smith?
My age. He's 27.
Currently. Well, then that means she's 23, he's 27.
Yeah, but that means that they got married when she was 18 and he was like...
Then he was what?
I guess 22. I
think
just,
that's
it's
fine.
just... I'm always very
that?
skeptical of men in their 20s who marry women that young because, like, you must have been dating before she turned 18.
They were both incredibly young to get married by modern standards at the time that they got married. And I think it's perfectly normal for an 18 and 22-year-old to be in a relationship.
This is
It can be. I don't know. I just...
Because also, we know that they have traditional religious views that they share. They have shared values. They seem to be perfectly happy together in current day, at least, and I don't see any obvious reason to be suspicious of them.
This is in a weird way, it's kind of like a Rorschach test. It tells you how these people feel about, you get the generic statement of a woman having her 4th child by this age, and then how people respond to it kind of tells you how they feel about the concept of marriage and having kids and men.
They're saying more about themselves than they're saying about Nara Smith. Another one said, "Girl, blink twice if you need help. I'm so serious. Let's try condom from scratch next." They're making fun of her cooking videos where she makes things from scratch. And another one said, "Girl is living my nightmare."
I don't see any problem with them having kids and everything. I think that's perfectly normal.
Why would you choose this life at 23?
Like, some people just value having a family and want to get started as early. I know I want to have kids I want to be done. I want 3 to 4 kids, and I want to be done having them by the time I'm 35. because I want to be young enough to do things with them when they're older.
I just don't see why they think they are an authority on how she lives her life. I thought this was all in the age of like girl power, women doing whatever they want, living your life
only
the way
if that
you
means
choose.
going to your mid-level marketing job.
Apparently not.
I don't
And
know.
then another one said Lucky Blue Smith is a reproductive terrorist and Nara is his victim.
Yeah, that's just nuts.
So we're on to some Andrea Dworkin level political philosophy about how like all sex is rape at this point. Another one said, I don't care if she's rich or married. There's conservative natalism propaganda at play here.
People are just weird.
If all she wanted to do was spread propaganda, I feel like she would just make normal Tradwife content and not have it affect her own personal life.
Also, in today's day and age, there's absolutely there's no incentive for her to do that against her will.
No.
Like she was independent.
Yes.
They met through modeling. She was independently already famous.
Yeah, she
and
didn't
on her way to
need
wealth.
to
Like,
hitch herself
yeah.
to him in any way.
it would be different if we're talking about like a small town in Utah where she didn't have other options, didn't go graduate high school, like was trapped into it. No, she was full. She has full agency here.
I was surprised when she said she's not Mormon. She addressed that in a video about her pregnancy announcement.
She said she's not Mormon at all?
Yeah, she said she's not Mormon, so I don't know what to make of that. Maybe her husband is still practicing Mormon, but she isn't. I think they both grew up that way, though. But another one said a more balanced take. Nara Smith is out here at 23 with 4 kids, a hot husband, and a thriving career. Meanwhile, I'm 22, unemployed, vibing with depression, and spending my parents' money like it's a personality trait. So that's really the crux of the issue, isn't it? It's just jealousy.
I think it is a lot of jealousy.
Yeah, like there are plenty of reasons to be jealous of this woman. You don't need to pretend that it's some kind of moral crusade you're undertaking here.
There's a 20.
Yeah, also, I mean, like, if they want 4 or 5 kids and she's done by the time she's 26, like, that gives you a lot of time to grow up and do stuff with them and have fun and then retire early. Like, her kids will be up and out of the house by the time she's 50.
We have a 20 from Riri Traveler. Getting married and having kids was normal throughout all of human history, and now it's crazy and propaganda. These people need to have their brains studied. They probably watched too many Man of the Year TikToks.
That must have been it.
Decided that men are
no,
all
I
evil.
mean they grew. A lot of them might have grown up in the later part of the 2000s when the trend was to tell women not to do this early and to put it off. You can have your mid-level marketing job in the city. Go off.
But for whatever reason, Nara Smith and her husband are living lives that are very against the grain and outside of the norm for Gen Z young adults. And I think that that's just inherently an interesting story. I'm not immediately critical of it. And clearly it's popular. People are consuming their content, and she has a huge fan base now because she makes all these wholesome cooking videos and she seems to really be enjoying her life. So yeah, there's no like reason to think that she's being abused or controlled.
Yeah,
like I said, it's a Rorschach test for how they feel about the opposite sex. The people commenting.
Modern feminism forgot that the whole point was women should have the option to go and make their own way if they want to, and not that the traditional way of doing things is wrong.
And that's an option that she clearly has.
Yeah.
And has left on the table. Like, she's not interested in that option. So why are we still complaining? Like, she still works, by the way. She still is a working mom. And she even clarified in her announcement video that they don't have nannies. They don't have hired help in the house. They just make it work with themselves and family members who come along to help sometimes.
She's like, I'm not Ballerina Farms.
Yeah.
I'm not cheating.
I mean, she was kind of saying that, yeah. Like, because she gets accused
Tradwife
of...
showdown.
She gets accused of kind of portraying a fake image of what her life is like online. And I think she's handled it the best way possible, because now she just does these videos for rage bait and she makes her cooking videos while wearing like these insanely expensive couture gowns that look totally insane to be wearing in the house, just to piss people off, because it's like, yeah, I'm rich and happy and happily married and have lots of kids. Like,
I know Amanda, my girlfriend, would absolutely love to be able to put everything down and go and, you know, bake bread and take care of the dogs and have kids. Like,
I think a lot of women feel that way.
The only reason she's working right now is because I don't have enough money to support us both and pay off her student loans. That's it. That's literally the only reason.
Well, I mean, it seems to be at least a popular sentiment among a portion of Gen Z women.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.